So, welcome everybody. It's 1 o'clock. It's rather lovely today. I would like Tam to be here, but what she's doing is she's putting up some decorations. It's her mum's birthday today, and she's over starting the kids off to decorate her kitchen, so that because she's been going out for a walk and then they're coming back. So I thought I'd rather than start late. Hi Matt, nice to see you, or your picture. And so today there's a couple of things that I was going to do. Is I've made a little bit of progress with the lion between doing other things, and then I may have a go at starting a stone. So there's a bamboo cane, Japanese basket weaving tradition that out of that. Hi, Matt. As a reception's not particularly good at the moment for some reason. There's a Japanese tradition of basket weaving, and what they did, what the Japanese craftsmen did, is they started to, and this basket weaving is incredibly intricate, is absolutely exquisite, and there's some modern craftsmen, artists who've made it. They've made this kind of basket weaving an art form, and they've pushed the material to extraordinary limits. Hi, love. Hi. They pushed it to extraordinary limits. Hey, I'll hand this over to you and then swizzle it round.
Okay. Well, how do I swizzle it round?
Yeah, swizzle it round. Hang on. I'll do this.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, love. There you go. So I was just telling them about the basket weaving.
Oh yeah.
So this Japanese, what the Japanese also have this kind of fascination with natural stone shapes, these found objects, and what the basket weavers were doing was that they were wrapping stone in cane, and I've seen online that the Americans have kind of got hold of that, and they've been doing it and kind of wrapping rocks and sticks and stuff like that. And but I was working for a guy a couple of years ago, and in his hall, it's the first time I'd ever seen it. In his hall, he had these two exquisite pieces of work, which were two stones that were just stood like little tiny kind of monoliths, natural shapes, and they were wrapped in cane and raffia. So what I might do is start off one of those towards the end of this class. Just start one off. There's a picture of one I've done on the website of a little sculpture that I've done that I then wrapped with cane, and anyway, you can have a look at that online if you like. But before then, what I'll do is I'll show you how far I got with this. So I've kind of made some progress, as I said, with it, and so we're getting to a point where I'm starting to carve shapes. And this is where that bit of kit is very useful, because you can just take measurements directly, and you can see I've still got quite a lot to come off. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to work the rest of this up here, and work these and carve these first. So I'll carve these shapes first, and these kind of the snarl first, and then see if I can, because this is all really interesting area, and then I'll start carving this area before I get that in kind of in place before I start kind of refining this. As you can see, I've made a little bit of progress. I just whilst we're up here, these are the two bits of stone that I put aside to possibly have a wrap to start cane wrapping them. Anyway, so yeah. Any queries, questions?
No.
Right. Okay. Alright, let's see about this. So at the moment I'm looking at these shapes, comparing that shape with what material I've got. And you know, this I'm kind of I know there's enough material, but I'm worried about that. I go, oh, is there enough material there? You know, is there enough material there to make that shape? And I mean, I know there is, but there's that kind of. It always is that. It never. You know, the more you carve, the more material. The more you carve, the more material you've got. Until you haven't. until you've blundered. But I mean, there is there's always more material.
Janola's asked, do you use a pointing machine also?
No, I don't use pointing machines. Pointing? Oh no, I've got one at the workshop, but I haven't. I've never. No, I used it with a big sculpture with a big deer. I used the pointing machine with that, but what I tend to do is I have my surface, because when I get a piece of material it's usually sawn 6 sides, so I've got a datum, so I can pick up points on the maquette and drill in to various points, so I can drill in, and then what I tend to do is carve between those points rather than, you know, and punch out between the points. So rather than oh hello Cos. So rather than use the pointing machine kind of slavishly, and I mean it works better if you've got a full size maquette, and then you can just transfer it over really easily. But I tend to work from half size maquettes and then double up. Does that work? Yeah. Yeah, and then double up the measurements. Cos gone Cosmo's gone all frisky. Yeah. So I'm just kind of carving this, and at the moment it's a plane, so I'm just carving this as a plane, so it comes over the top and round, and so do the same on this side. So I have to put stuff away at the end of the day, so they always end up in a bucket, whereas in the workshop I can kind of leave stuff out, and then it just doesn't kind of, mind you, I still spend shed loads of time kind of looking for tools that I've just put there. So there's our centre line. That there. So there's this is interesting because on this one I've got a line, a kind of line that runs around here. It's picked up by this shadow, so there may be one on this side as well. Yes, I've definitely got this kind of line that runs then, and I could just apply that just to the side of here, and I know then that that everything on, I do that, everything on this side of the line kind of slopes downwards like that into this dip. So. I saw there used to be the head carver before Jason Battle at Salisbury Cathedral. There was a guy called Tom. I've forgotten his second name, Tom. But one day he came into the workshop and he had all his tools in a bucket, and he just he just tipped them all over. He just tipped them all over onto the floor. I mean, he's a kind of dramatic kind of guy anyway, but it was a kind of big statement like I've arrived, and he just dropped this pile of chisels all over the floor, and then he just grabbed one out of the midst of it and started carving. kind of just feel a bit weird carving in front of people on your own work, kind of demonstrating, because there's not feels a bit like you it's quite a private thing normally. I mean, I like to show people, look, this is what I've done, but the whole process is because I'm constantly dealing with that kind of, oh Jesus Christ, have I managing those, have I made a mistake, those feelings. I'm sure there's people around who are supremely confident in what they do, but I think most people, when they make things like, make things, if they're honest about the kind of creative process, whatever that is, if they're honest about it, it's fraught with kind of dread, horror and difficulties. I mean, Jay Battle, who is on my mind at the moment, is is an amazing artist and a superb carver. He did 2 or 4 figures on the front of Salisbury Cathedral. He's a really brilliant carver, and there's some stuff that he says, no, I can't look at it. Once he's finished it, he just, hate it. And I get that completely. I think if you're going to be good at anything, there has to be that, hopefully not completely permanent, but that part of you that's dissatisfied with what you're doing, dissatisfied enough to make you want to do it better. Where it gets a problem is when it completely ruins it. When it completely ruins it, and you get no sense of joy or satisfaction out of it, at the process at all. So to me at the moment, and I've kind of moved back to here, which is less. I mean, moved back to an area where I go, yeah, no, I've got stone here. I can safely do that, and kind of almost kind of tinker away at it until it comes into view. Kind of finding my way with it. There you go, it's slowly happening. I'm just kind of pushing the muzzle back, pushing this kind of top of the nose back, leaving enough material for the snarl. So, but even then I know I've got more material because this is too wide. This is much wider. I mean, there comes a point where you just got to go, actually that works really well, I'm going to leave it, don't worry about that. The nose is good, wider, or, but having more material to play with is a kind of nice luxury to have.
Basket weaving is easier.
Is it?
Apparently.
Who said that?
Tinola.
Have you tried basket weaving? Because, yeah, no, well, maybe it is. Who's this guy? Hello. And returns the neighbour visiting. Let me show them cots.
Again.
There he is.
The noisy one.
So he's getting a bit decrepit because we've got a cat that comes in and steals his food. And no worries. You're right.
Yeah.
This is live feed to Instagram.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, neighbour. See you later. So yeah, he's getting a bit. Oh, he's moved. He's getting a bit decrepit, and we've got a black cat that comes in and just steals his food at night. It's really,
Whilst we're sat there.
yeah, whilst we're sat there. So we're going to have to get a kitten to take over from him. But the risk of getting a new cat is he navigates the road here really well and has survived for however many years. Whereas some cats don't get it and they get got by the ribbon of death outside our house. How long have I been doing this for? I've got 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Alright, well, what I'm going to do is just show you briefly, if anybody, I mean, I don't know whether, it's just something I... Over here. So here's the two stones that I was looking at. I'm not sure where these came from. I think they came from a place called, certainly that one, came from a place called Maen Clwyd, which is in Wales, right in the centre of Wales. It's in the Welsh Mountains, in the middle of Wales, and this came out of a stream. They came out of a stream, and I just loaded them into the back of the van because I liked the look of them at the time. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one. Put that there, and then we'll see. So this has been sat in some water for a while, a few days now. Let's see if we can get a... There's one. So I soaked these so that when they dry they'll tighten. I'm not even sure that's what you're supposed to do, but oh, I'll pop these back in here. Sort that out later. And then just begin with this one. So I don't know, I did about 4 or 5 of them when I first started doing them, and they worked beautifully. And then I just couldn't make them work. They were just, it was a bloody nightmare. And so I'm going to start off with a really simple design. So we do that. Come around here. And I think they use kind of like awls or blunt awls to do this as well. When it comes to the later techniques, because this one is the kind of opening move on this. try that. Smooth that over a bit. I think that comes close. There. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this is easier than carving, but it's incredibly pleasant. It's very, very nice. Hey Tom, you're right.
You double need me. Okay. Well, give me a couple
Well,
of
we'll
minutes.
be
I'll be there in a minute.
5
Okay.
minutes. Love.
Be there in 5. Okay. There. And there's the beginning. So what would be nice is to have a few folk trying this at the same time. That would lend itself to a kind of Zoom meeting better than an Instagram feed. So as we're going to stop transmitting soon, as it were. If you, I mean, I don't think there's anybody new here, is there? Do we know how many? So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, please do, if you wish. We don't send out that much. We do one a month or so, and it usually has news about bees and some last. Did we do cake last time? Did Alan do cake last time? And then we'll also keep everybody informed as to when we're going to kind of restart classes and stuff like that, because yeah, going to do that. Thank you for watching. Yeah, these classes are getting kind of less and less productive. Have a lovely week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers.